Hi there. I'm going to have a go at programming a split patch, and the idea is that I have a bass and some kind of accompaniment on the left hand side of the keyboard. Then on the right hand side of the keyboard, I can sort of mess around with some kind of like lead voicing, and I can set that up quite easily. The Moog One has got 3 synths per patch, and what they call synths, I suppose you'd call timbrels. And each one of those is essentially its own sounds. And the way I like to sort of set them up is the first voice I'll set up with a lead sound, and then the second voice I'll set up with a bass line, and the third voice will have some kind of like sort of pad sort of noise. And because I'm essentially a guitarist originally, I really like to sort of put a lot of emphasis on actually playing the lead side of things, because I'm not a traditional keyboardist or pianist, so I can just like mess around like I've got a lead guitar under my hands. So the accompaniment side, like the bass and the pad, I can sort of demote to a second class citizen by getting that to be automated, and by that I'm going to set those up as arpeggios. So let's get right in. I've got shift compare, gives me an init patch, and so there's nothing there at the moment. So all I got to do is well, I'm on synth 1, so I'm going to start off with my lead sound. I might as well. And I'm going to split that on the keyboard control, so that it plays from, now that will be A2, I think, or A1, well, whatever it is. So if I set the low range to A, that's A4. I got that completely wrong. So that's A4, and so all the notes from A4 will play my lead patch, and everything below A4 is dead. So that's going to be my accompaniment. So yeah, I'm going to set this up sort of fairly quickly. So yeah, it's going to be. That's going to be the lowest note I'm going to play. If it's going to be lead, I don't need any lower than that. Yep. So let's get the filter sorted out. So give it a nice tone. So that's my cut-off modulation. Quickly get the decay set up. A bit of release on the amplifier envelope. It comes in a bit harshly, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a tack on the amplifier envelope. Oh, that's too much. And it's not going to be totally at the bottom for a sustain. It's going to have something to it. That's another thing I like to do with the lead sounds, is put them into mono mode on the polyphony, because I'm not going to be playing chords. But as soon as I do that, I get sort of a fade off when I sort of trill the note legato. So I'm going to select multi-trig on the 2 envelopes. And the other thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of glide. Too much. That legato is like really smooth now, so that's nice. Yeah, some other quick things I do. The mod wheel is automatically mapped to vibrato, but I want to be able to use that mod wheel to modulate some other things in my patch. So I'm going to go into modulation and going to take the control from the mod wheel away, and I'm going to give that to aftertouch. And this is another kind of a guitarist kind of thing. I like to like by default that's like set to 1%, but I'm going to set it to 2%. And what that gives me a real sort of a lead guitar kind of feel, like. And another thing I like to do is set the pitch bend to be different values. So pitch bend up, I'll set that to 7 semitones. Pitch bend down to -5. I'll set them at different, but those two notes are in like an octave apart. And this is the effect. So pitch up is, so that's like a perfect fifth. And that's what is the octave down from a perfect fifth up? So is that like a fourth, third? I should know my music theory. I used to just keep it at like a whole tone up and a whole tone down, but I find you can do if you start to with the leads, if you start to get more of a feel for like a wider range, then you can get some like sort of really nice leads, sort of like signature sounds out. You can just do some like weirder things with like pitch bends, and I kind of like that. But it takes a bit of control and feel to do that. So yep, the mod wheel's now having no effect. And I'm going to go on and have a go at the bass now. So going to synth 2, and if I set the high range to that was on G4. So was the start of the lead is A4 upwards. So G sharp 4 will be the high, and that should be set to G sharp 4. And yep, that's so that bass is from C0 to G sharp 4. So what we can hear here is if I go shift and hold down synth 2, I'm only going to be able to like hear what we've got on a synth 2. So it's good to isolate sounds if you sort of work that way. So this is going to be my bass. I'm going to put that on a square wave just to give it a different feel. Hard square. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that up on the arpeggiator and put that on hold. And I've got external syncing, so it's being synced from Ableton at the moment. And so with that kicked in, I'm going to just get my envelope working. To really beef that up, there's a few things I can do. And I'm going to put that an octave down. Right, so I'm going to bring in the SVF filter as well. For the both on max, I'm going to put the two filters in series. So we're getting some really good punch with that bass. This is the cutoff modulation. Just like, and then start tweaking the filter decay. going to turn off the receive MIDI clock. Because I'm getting all sorts of like a janky stuff from Ableton. I'm gonna rely on the external clock, and I'm going to also turn off receive MIDI start and stop, and that's just in the global settings. That's getting the sort of bass sound, that one. That's nice. That's cool. And so that's like really punchy, and I can go to my next patch now, which will be, this is the third patch, so this is just some kind of like a pad just to accompany the bass, and I'm going to sort of set it up like similarly, and so I'm going to put a hold, put it onto an arpeggio, set up the arpeggiator. Now, I'm not going to have it like trigger on the same rate, so I'm going to set the arpeggiator to be a different clock division. It's currently on an 8th. So I've got that set to half notes. So that's like sort of half a bar at the moment. So half a bar is good, and I'm going to set the octave level to 2. So this is going to be like a pad playing in the background. It doesn't sound anything like a pad right now, but it will do. It will do. It's not like a really sort of deep pad. It's just some like sort of muffled background ambience. So we need loads of attack in there because it's got to come in really smoothly. That's kind of doing the things what we want it to do. So I'm just going to roll in some LFO. Now what does that sound like with the bass? I'm going to reactivate the bass. They're both like working together. So back onto isolating the that third synth. I'm going to bring a second oscillator. Just some higher frequencies and a bit of like envelope. So on the LFO 2, I'm going to change that to a square wave. And I'm going to get the sync on the square wave to match up. Oh, that's sounding like kind of weird and funky. I like that. Isolate it again. So I want this to sound like really weirdy. So in order to do that, I'm going to put up like a stereo delay, and I also like I want the bass really dry, so that can stay in the middle with the like dry effects. But I want this pad to have a bit more space. So I'm going to set it up with a stereo delay on the this is on the synth effect section. So I really want to spread it out, and I'm going to set the right controller for the effect to tone, because that gives us like control over light and dark. But the controller one is like really good on a mix. So I'm going to increase the feedback to 8% on left, feedback on 8% right. And we've got that modulation wheel set to really weird it up if we want to now. So that's nice, but that isn't like sort of going to weird up our main sort of a lead voice. So that's kind of what we want. But we also, let's go back to that bass and make sure that the bass doesn't get sort of messed up by the mod wheel. So I'm just going to like sort of disable the mod wheel. Right. So we've got two parts. We've got the accompaniment part. So the other part, sort of, I'm going to reintroduce is the synth one voice. Right. I've also got to shut off the keyboard control for synth 3 because it's got the whole keyboard. So we're going to map it to the same range as the bass. The actual sort of lead voice is overlapping the sort of stereo space with the bass at the moment, so I'm going to isolate that, and I'm going to get some nice effect and sort of put that elsewhere in the stereo field. I'm probably going to play safe and do another stereo delay, but just with slightly different settings. So that's I'm setting up my tone on the controller again, going to the effect parameters. And I like the time being set to 1/8 triplets and 1 on the left and 1/8 on the right. They've got to be set to like different times because if they're set to the same amount, it doesn't sound quite the, well, they kind of like sort of phase each other out, and they just sound like really flat in the middle. Stops being stereo, so if you set like sort of 1 to 8 notes, and the other to say like a dotted 8s, then the stereo effect works again. That's another thing I can do is I'd like to sort of add the expression pedal and to just like modulate that sound a little bit more. So when the expression pedal is like closed, I'd like the cutoff to be closed. So that's what it's going to sound like when it's closed. So let's get expression 1. Going to map that to 25% on the expression pedal. Right, so that's sounding pretty good. So, right, let's bring everything in. Now we've got pitch bend happening on since 2 and 3. Let's hold them both down and kill their pitch bend. That's kind of good. Maybe the bass is a little bit boomy, so I just like sort of turn down that bass a little bit on the VCA. Hold down 2 and 3 and press the hold button twice, and that kind of stops the sequence. So I've got something I kind of like there. I mean, I haven't even used the global effects, and that's something I can use to add a little bit of polish, but I mean that gives the sort of the idea of how I sort of set up my splits. So I've got different I've got the different splits mapped to different controllers. So they're not responding to the pitch, as we say, but cool. And so I can sort of do those sorts of things. And right, so it's always worth like kind of saving these and saving. I've got my own group that I set up for these sort of things. And for some reason it's like one of these bugs, but if you put the type in and sort of set it to split, it always resets as soon as you like put in any more information. So that's like the last thing I set. One of those little OS bugs. Just going to set up the preset name, and I'm going to call this demo and I'm slowly becoming better at remembering where all the letters are, but I'm still not there yet. SPLIT. Oh, that wasn't too slow. Yes, so synth 1 I've got set up as a lead, and I'd have misspelled lead. It's always worth getting these things right. Synth 2 I've got set up as my bass, and synth 3 I've got set up as a pad. And so there's my split. It's mood, I'll call it calm. Category, well, it's all about the lead row, so I'm going to put that in leads, and it is a split. So if I go to the top and to set the type again, it always resets. And there's the that bug in action. I'm gonna save a new preset. So I've got demo split. And yeah, one more thing that I like to do with these patches is use the my own performance set to sort of put them in. And so the performance set panel, that's got the letters A to H with like 1 to 8. If you select the menu button for that, you can create a set. So I've created a set called ellipsis, and in my the D bank of ellipsis, I've got a lot of my splits all organized together. So that's like really handy. So I can put like leads in, say, of one of these slots, and but my D bank is like for the splits. So I'm gonna hold down and save my split. Cool. Right. I'm just going to resave that because I didn't save the hold on synth 2 and 3. So it's really quick being able to do that. So but I've got a lot of similar kind of things in this bank as well. So it's nice having sort of similar kind of things together so you can work quickly in that gig situation. So here's another a very similar one I did called Neon Nights. So I mean the bass sounds almost identical. So yeah, so that's how I do splits. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you're all about it, like subscribe to my channel, and you'll get some more tips on how to work different ways with synthesizers, and maybe some more Moog One content. Okay, catch you later.